I thought I'd make a little video about what's going on because, yeah, it's a big thing, isn't it? The funny thing about this is that it's so shocking, isn't it? Because if when I just said that then, and I remembered again what's going on, um, yeah, it hit me again because it's astonishing, isn't it? That within a month the whole world is kind of in broken to what we've known it to be for the whole of our lives. Most of us, like, unless you're very old, not very old, some people are like, hey, I'm not that old. Well, there are, like people in their 70s, they may have some memory of the war. But for the majority of us in the West, we haven't known anything like that for a very, very long time in our lifetimes. It's out of our kind of normal consciousness that life can suddenly go wrong, that the world can suddenly kind of implode. It's kind of like there's this sense of impending doom around everywhere. Well, in some people, that I've noticed there is a mixture of some people taking it seriously and other people completely refusing to believe that this is happening. You've got people that they were refusing to believe it and now it's dawning on them. There's a whole array of different reactions and ways of behaving at the moment. And, we're all going to feel a lot of emotion because we don't like the unknown, and this is very much the unknown. I mean, we never knew, but we thought we knew what was going to happen. We know that generally that we're going to get up in the morning and what's going to happen in our day and what our world's going to be like the weekend after next. We're used to that, and this is certainly putting the mockers on that, isn't it? We have no idea what's going to happen from one day to the next, and it's very hard for our consciousness, or our consciousness is fine on a large level. There's no problem whatsoever because it's all one being. So if that being, that wholeness needs to rub a bit of itself out because it's got a little bit out of hand in one area or another, then it doesn't mind because it's all self. But when you come down to being these individuals as we see ourselves, obviously it's we have a desire for self-preservation, and that's what's kind of showing. It's going to go. There's going to be two camps because we have our soft, nurturing feminine side, which wants to help and be good, and then we have others that are completely in their other side, their survival mode, and they're always in that mode, and this is going to exacerbate that will not follow the rules, and that's what would cause the uproar if that actually happens. And we don't know whether it's going to. I think for myself and the people that I know around me, it's more the breaking down of society that feels frightening than the actual virus itself. I mean, I found I heard about this about a month ago. Both my sons started to mention it. One of them is very astute at looking at like the markets and stuff like that, and my other son is they're both just quite switched on to what's going on, and they both mentioned when this kicked off that this could be big. And in the beginning I was like everybody else doing that thing of, oh, it's just, the thing is the amount of times that the media have sensationalized and made massive, like bird flu, swine flu, all of these things, we're all going to get it. That when something like this big, that's scary happens, at the beginning you're like, yeah, they say that all the time. But this is not that, is it? This is something else entirely. That's whether or not eventually it just becomes one of our normal flu things. That's not what's happening now. And the world is shutting down, and it's hard to get your head around. And I found in my own mind, and I'm very lucky that I'm able to see it happening and not buy into my mind. But that's easier said than done. I mean, I've had moments where it suddenly dawned on me how massive this could be, or probably will be for the world in a whole. I mean, I think it has its upsides too. We've tried to talk rather than just be kind of stuck in the doom of the situation, is we've talked about, the good that will come out of this in the end, because, the world has been, the inequality in the way that we've behaved in the Western world, the way people have been allowed to treat their employees and things like that, all that is going to blow up now because people haven't got money, and it's, we're going to have to do things very differently. But back to the mind. It's very difficult to stay. It's so big, and like, I find that I'm thinking about it a lot. Because there's something in all of us that's going, well, what is going on? And it wants to keep you safe. That's its purpose, is to keep you safe, and so it's on high alert. But I've also noticed, and talking to my partner and my son who are here, that we all have this kind of feeling of like just alertness to what's the situation. We're looking at it a lot. We're watching it kind of unfold. But none of us are really panicking or getting stressed about it, in as much as we're just watching. But I can easily see how that panic can set in, because like when we first heard about it and when it started to go in China, and then we sort of to see it spread out across the world. I was sat thinking about it, and then it's like this person ran inside my head and shouted, "Oh my God, we're all gonna die!" Real panic, and that could have exploded. I mean, luckily for me, it didn't, but I can perfectly well see how it could in a lot of people. And I'm not saying it won't in the future, because we don't know what's going to happen, do we? But yeah, we have to look out for the mind. We've got to try and find that, even though all this is going on, we have to try and find some peace of mind by taking our mind off of it and doing other things. And it's going to stay in the background, and it's going to keep hitting us all over and over again, isn't it? The implications of it, and the severity of it, and just the differentness. Because, as I said earlier on, we don't like change very much. We don't like things we can't control. And again, that's a safety issue. We are animals like every other animal, in as much as we all have a sense of wanting to survive and to protect our own. That's why there's all the panic buying and stuff going on, because people don't think about the bigger picture. If you're thinking about, right, we're all going to be shut in, we're not going to be able to get food, this could be massive, and you've got children and whatever, and you're going to think, I need to protect my family. And so that's why people are getting out of control and going crazy. And we've got some stuff. I mean, it's stupid not to. But there's a middle ground, isn't there? There's a thing of going, well, okay, we're not going to buy anything extra. I mean, when you're being told that there's a very good chance you're going to be stuck in, then, and you're seeing this happening all around you in other countries, it's natural. So, yeah, we've bought extra things just so that we know that if we're shut in for 2 weeks, that we have got enough to last us a fortnight. But, we didn't go crazy and buy 500 toilet rolls. It's weird, isn't it? The whole toilet roll thing. Don't get that. Yeah, very odd. It doesn't quite make sense, does it? It's like, I saw a thing the other day that was saying, like, there's no toilet roll, but all the fresh fruit and veg is still there. I know that, obviously, unless you've got a freezer, but everybody could be preparing veg and putting it away, and think. But yeah, very odd. It's like a collective weirdness that's happening all over the world. Because the thing is, it's not that important, is it? I mean, I'm not saying that anyone wants a dirtier noose, because they don't. But most people have got some form of ability to wash their bottom if they have to. But yeah. But anyway, yeah, the mind. I keep going off track because it's hard to not get caught up in the story. That's another thing that we've decided, here in our house, is that, we all live in a story all the time. And I think it's a good opportunity for waking up to reality, because the reality we've known is suddenly broken. It's not the same anymore. And that's a very good opportunity when that happens, to step out of it and go, oh my God, it isn't real. Because it isn't. I mean, our whole society, the way that it works, is all just dependent on everybody going along with it. And this has come in and shown us what's important because I've noticed, like this week, I've been speaking a lot more to people, like my family and things. Everyone's staying far more in touch, and it makes you notice the important things of life, like just like sometimes the amount of times that we've needed to go shopping and we go, I don't want to go shopping. Go, yeah, but we need to because we need this, that, and the other. And our hardship is getting in the car, driving to the supermarket, and going around and being able to choose from a massive array of food that other people have made for us and put there for us. And we just take that completely for granted. We actually complain about going there. It's just crazy. And now you sort of look at it and you think, fuck, that is not going to be like that for quite a long time now, because, it's just not. There's going to be food, but there's not going to be food like that availability of food. And, we do take it for granted. Just being able to take the dog to the park and go out walking and have that freedom. It's just, my son's still in Spain, my younger son with his family, and they're allowed to take the dog out within 500 yards of the house, and they're allowed to go. One person is allowed to go to the supermarket and or the chemist. One person in a car, not more than that. They really are taking it seriously. But literally, your ability to go for a walk is taken away. And even though that's not happened in the UK yet, it doesn't mean that it's not going to. It just makes you appreciate everything. I found that I planted some seeds the other day, and I was washing up some sweet pea seeds on the windowsill, and I was washing up the dishes, and I looked over and they'd started to come out, and I got a bit choked because there's life coming. There's life, and life is all around us still, and we're all still alive at the moment. Most of us, anyway. I shouldn't laugh. I don't mean that glibly, but it's kind of, you have to keep a sense of humour as well. Because otherwise you will just go down. And I do keep thinking, my God, this is crazy, and having this sort of feeling of it's like it's not a nervous laugh. It's just like a disbelief. It is unbelievable. But yeah, we have to try and keep our sanity by not allowing ourselves to drop into that place of absolute doom. And humour is important in that. And so it's looking after our health and things, like they're saying about washing your hands and all that, but our mental health and our physical health, like when we're stuck inside, still doing some sort of exercise if you can't go out. And look up, if you haven't already, look up the Wim Hof breathing. My partner's been saying to me for a while we ought to do that, and I've been like, yeah, of course. But we've actually started doing it, and it's really, really nice. You lie down and you just take big, deep breaths in so you fill up as far as your stomach, and then you just let it out. You don't have to slowly let it out, just let it go, and you do that 30 times. And it's very meditative, it's very relaxing. By the end of it, your body's full of extra oxygen in your blood, and it's expanded your lungs. You actually, as you're doing it, as you sort of go further along, you notice how you're able to take bigger breaths as they're able to stretch out more. And obviously we all need to be looking at that at the moment, looking at our health, being kind to ourselves, trying not to get stuck in the fight or flight reaction. The chances are we're all going to be going there at some point in the near future, but we need to be able to get back out of that, because if we get stuck in that cycle of the fight or flight chemicals, then we're in fight or flight, we're not in rest and repair, and we need to keep our bodies strong. And we keep our body strong by keeping our mind strong, and vice versa. So, it's we have to take this opportunity where we're stuck inside and not able to do the things we used to do and just behave in the way that we did, to reflect on, it's a perfect opportunity for going in and seeing what's coming up in us, seeing how this part of us, we all have a part of us that is very strong, it's very vigilant, and it doesn't panic, and it can take control when necessary, and it can do that perfectly if it's not being hindered by our other parts of our mind. And I think that in a situation like that part of us stands up, and so we have to trust that it's there and look for it, look for that voice of reason that's there, go, no, everything's okay, we're going to be okay. The thing is, we don't know if we're going to be okay. like most young people are probably going to be okay. But, once you get to my sort of age, I'm 54 now. I mean, I'll probably be okay, but you don't actually know. And, that's the thing as well. Everyone has to face the prospect of having their family and people they love around them, and maybe even themselves, either being very seriously ill or dying. And that makes us, we love people, don't we? But it makes us reach out to people, and that's a really good thing. So it's it's a very, very strange time for everybody, and we have to keep our positivity and watch it unfold. Think about it from the perspective of consciousness, how we go through these cycles. We're not immune to it. Just because we live very cleanly now and we have all this fancy stuff, humanity has never been immune to viruses and plagues and things happening. And so it's just come around again. It's like 100 years since the Spanish flu, and now we're having this. And, it's like a sort of inevitable, really. We just kind of, as if we thought we'd outgrown it, really, but we haven't. And in these times, we have to pull together and we have to love each other, because that's so important right now, is that we love and we be loved. The unfortunate thing in this situation is we have to love from a distance, because we can't be too close to people. Like, there's a few times this week where I could tell that my son could really do with a bit of a hug, but that feeling of, you better not get too close. So I sort of hug him around the middle so I don't put my face too near him. And we are actually self-isolating because my partner's daughter may well have had it. She's only 10, she's fine now, but she was here. And so there's a chance that we've not been going out. The only place we've been going is to the park with the dog, and staying away from other people, because even though we're actually all fine, we've been inside now for about 6 days, none of us are showing any symptoms of having it. But you don't know, we may be asymptomatic, and if we were to go out, we may pass it on. And that's what we've all got to do, is remember that we may feel all right, but we may pass it on to other people. So, it's just being sort of vigilant in that way. I mean, I'm in sort of two minds. That thing is like, you're thinking, oh my God, it might come. But the chances are we're all going to get it, or most of us are going to get it at some point in the next few years. And so in some ways you think, just let me have it and get it over with. And then another part thinks, I don't want to get it, because you don't know what's going to happen. And I think everybody's going through that. And you're bound to, aren't you? And yeah, it's certainly the most unusual thing that's happened in our lifetimes, isn't it? But it's just the way the story's going. We've been looking at it like, okay, so we thought the story was going like that, and all of a sudden there's been like a new chapter in the book, and in this book, this is the bit where the thing happens. In every story there's a thing that happens, isn't there? And we're all having this massive thing happen. And yeah, if you keep an eye on it from that perspective, you're kind of removed a little bit too. But yeah, we're going to feel afraid, and we're going to feel trepidation and worry. And but what we need to do is notice which part of us is doing that worrying, which part is freaking out, which part is fine with it, and see if you can realise that the side that's okay with it is always okay with whatever happens. Actually, it's fine. It's just curious. Always. You've got the part that wants to protect you. We've all got an inner warrior. We've got the part that wants to protect those around us, but we've got this solid, stable part. And we've also got an array of fear and all the other bits that will pop up. And we will go between them. It's natural. We're going to, because we're under stress. But yeah, find time to turn away from the news for a bit and connect with people, read books, do things that are going to take you away from it for a while. We watched some comedy last night, a few episodes of The Peep Show, and we all had the same feeling that as soon we all got immersed in it, and then we finished it and stood up, and all three of us had that feeling of remembering again, going, oh my God, that sort of, we call it the Apoco Doom. We've as a sort of jokey thing. We're calling it the arrival of the apocalypse. It was my birthday the other day, and my son wrote in my card, "Have a lovely birthday, and I hope you have a wonderful apocalypse." So we're saying that we've got the apoco doom, which is when it suddenly you remember again. You go, "Oh God, yeah, apoco doom." Or the apoco jitters is when you're feeling like, "Oh my God." Yeah, it's hard. It's so hard to get your mind off it. I noticed mine earlier on. We were still in the kitchen and lit one of those, those coal things that you burn and then you put incense on the top. And as you start it off, it burns across, like you see it's like a sort of lightning thing that goes all the way across it. We were stood looking at it going, and my partner said, "That's so, I love that, the way it does that." And I realised that my mind was saying, "Yeah, it's like the coronavirus spreading across the world." It's in there, and we have to, we have to notice it, because when you notice it, you don't take it seriously. It's when you say, one thought leads to another into massive catastrophes. We're all going to catastrophize a bit right now, but in a way, it's self-preservation. So we're going to, but it's not letting it get out of hand is the thing. There isn't anybody on this planet right now that isn't going to be feeling worried about what is going to happen. Like society is the whole. I think personally, I feel that the whole world right now has to forget about money, forget about economies, forget about all of that, and everyone just do everything they can to help everybody else. And then we pick it up afterwards and we make a new way, because this way's not been working for a long time, and we need a new way. And I think this is kind of like consciousness's way of reminding us that what we're doing is wrong, the way we're living is wrong, the way we're treating the planet, because the planet is suffering because of the way we've treated it. Like, you think of how many flights go every day across the world, just because people fancy going to another country. I'm not saying people shouldn't go to another country, but everything has become so easy for us, and at the point that we're not looking after the thing that we live on, because of our feel that we have a right to do these things. And it's like nature is stepped back and gone, human beings have been a virus on this planet for quite a while, the way we've been treating it, and now we've got this virus come in. I think it's kind of saying yesterday how in England we've just spending like, I don't know how much it is, a massive, huge amount of money on building this submarine. I don't know if it's even built yet, but I think it was trillions of pounds. That might be a bit of an exaggeration. I don't know. It's a hell of a lot of money anyway on that, to protect us from our enemies. And then our enemy comes in and it's so small we can't even see it. We've been looking at each other thinking, right, we need to fight you, where actually we should have been thinking about what could come in and affect us in another way. I think it's a massive wake-up call. When you're faced with something like this, race and all that sort of thing should completely go out the window. We all need to just help each other, and that goes for us too. Like you're welcome to message, and everyone's going to be stuck at home. Let's talk, and I'm going to make more of these sort of like little, not this long, but thinking, just do sort of little daily things about what we can do and how our minds are working, and discuss that, and how we're feeling, because we need to band together. Anyone that's not on my Facebook that watches this, you're welcome to join me on Facebook, and we'll, send each other. I don't post much about spiritual stuff, all this stuff. Most things that I post are silly, because if something makes me laugh, I like to pass it on. But, we can start discussions, we can pull together. And the thing is, people that watch me, you're all the same kind of people. So, let's bring that together, because we need each other right now, don't we? We all need each other. We need to reach out to other people and to escape from the doom a bit. I'm not saying we won't discuss the feelings of doom. We can, because they're going to be there and there's no point ignoring them. But there's also the thing of also being able to see the bigger picture, because it includes it all. There's no point in going, well, we're so spiritual that we're not going to think about these things of awful doom, because they're there. So let's all just be realistic about this. And yeah, I think I'll stop talking now. So nice to speak to you, and keep your chins up, and I'll speak to you soon.